This song's for the veterans because I think they are underappreciated in this country. And just know that I stand with you and for you, and I'll do anything I can for you. So here we go. This song's gonna tread on me. Left wing, right wing, it's all same thing. Who you really working for? You say it's me, but you're shaking hands with the wolves inside my door. With a hollowed heart and a devil's tongue, bend the truth to hide your lies. With a blink of an eye, you fall asleep in a bed of alibis. It's time to rise up and believe. Need to give back to the dream.
I'm gonna trust myself. Oh, I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna trust myself. Love myself. Believe in myself like I used to. Oh.
What's up, y'all? Andrew Sully Sullivan here, along with the notorious Johnny Free. This is the 25-8 podcast, and we're thrilled to have the McLemore Boys stick around and help guest host with us and ask some questions of our guests.
Let's go.
Thank you to John Daly, Nashville. Thank you to Good Boy Vodka. We appreciate all the help and support to make today possible. So excited for our next guest, country music, outlaw country music, singer-songwriter, Kevin Thomas.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here in Nashville for a couple days and get to hang out with you guys on the podcast.
Yeah, we're stoked to hear you play later today as well.
Yeah, man.
But,
All the way from the great state of Kentucky.
all the way from Kentucky, man.
You ain't a Kentucky fan, are you?
I don't really care about sports.
Is that enough?
Hit.
I do like to gamble a little bit, so I do bet on like NFL stuff. But that's I guess the beauty of the NFL is Kentucky don't have an NFL team, so I can just pick whoever.
I'm not sure they have a college football team either.
They do, but I've never seen them play.
Dad asked where you were from, and you explained. He said, "I know exactly where that's not."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Kevin, I would love to get to know you.
Yeah.
I would love to hear a little bit about your growing up in Kentucky and what got you to this point in your life, what kind of family life you had, what you did as a kid, hobbies, likes, and let's get to know you.
Yeah, so my whole life's been pretty musically aligned. I've got a few family members that have had a lot of success in music, country music, gospel music, all those things. Kevin Denny, he lives here in Nashville, and he's wrote a bunch of songs for a lot of people. And I think his biggest release was he just wrote a song for Zach Top, Beer for Breakfast, I think is what it was, and they just released it. So he's still writing songs for people and things like that. So yeah, my life's always aligned musically. I've had members in my family that's had a lot of success in that. I think my music kind of started where every good old boy's music starts, and that's in church. Thank God I had a grandmother that believed in me and seen something in me that nobody else did, and she kind of just put me in the spotlight a little bit and gave me a little bit of room to run, and that's kind of what happened. I picked up a guitar and learned to play guitar. She had passed away. I was 10 years old and she had passed away, and she'd left me her guitar in her will, and left me a note and said, out of all my grandkids, pretty much, you're the one that I think will probably do something with this. And so she left me her guitar, and when I was 11, I finally buckled down and said, all right, I'm going to try to learn this thing in honor of her. So that's what I did. I learned to play guitar, and thank God I did. And if you check out my logo and everything, and these roses on the back of my hand, that's in memory of her. My name's Kevin Thomas, and in my logo it says Thomas, and the O is a rose, and that's because of my grandmother.
What was her name?
Her name was Izona Case.
That's a
Yeah.
fantastic name.
Yeah. Izona was her name, and yeah. So she left me her guitar. I learned to play, and I started playing and started singing a little bit, and I turned 18, 19 years old. Wrote my first song. Had some publishing companies reaching out. I put the song online, and it done pretty decent. And I had publishing companies start reaching out, and they're like, "Hey, we want to talk to you about this," and they wanted to buy the song and stuff like that. And I decided, well, if it's the first song I ever wrote and people want to buy it, that means I probably got a little something here. I might be able to do something with this. So started doing it, and then got married, and life took over. And for 7 years, I didn't pick up a guitar, didn't do nothing, didn't write, didn't do nothing. And my ex-wife, now she's my ex-wife, she had cheated on me and got pregnant by another man, and that kind of sparked this, because I went down a big rabbit hole of depression and all kinds of mental stuff, and drinking and doing things I'm not proud of. And I decided that when I come out of that, it was like my awakening moment, I guess. And I decided that I'm going to live for myself. And so I picked up a guitar and wrote a song called Wither Away, which I have released right now. And I played that song out for people, and it's like, oh gosh, yeah. And, I had grown men crying. I had everybody in the crowd crying when I sing it and stuff. And I just realized, maybe I got something. Maybe there's something here. And I decided to do it, and I quit my job cold turkey, which I do not recommend doing that.
What was your job?
I worked for the federal government at the time.
Good thing you ain't working for him right now.
I was working.
You were fired last month and didn't know it.
Yeah, I was working for the federal government, doing like contract stuff, IT stuff from home.
Yeah.
And I was making really good money, and everybody told me I was stupid for quitting. But I had a little money saved up, and I used that money to buy me a brand new Breedlove guitar, which I got to mention them because they sponsor me, and they're awesome. One of the best guitars I ever played, seriously. And bought all the stuff I needed to play out, and didn't even know where to start. But I found a guy on Facebook that lived close to me that had a picture. He had a picture of him with a guitar, and his name's Hunter Flynn, and he's doing big things now. I'm very proud of him. And I messaged him and said, "Hey man, kind of want to play music. Where do I start? Like, what do I do? Because I have no idea." He's like, "Open mics, man." I'm like, "What the hell's open mic? Yeah, I don't know what an open mic is, dude." And he's like, "Well, there's one up the road, about 30 minutes from you." And I'm like, "Okay." So he told me when to be there. I showed up with 3 songs, got up there, sang them. And every week I'd go to that open mic, and then I started venturing off all through Kentucky playing open mics. And then I got very fortunate to be in an open mic one night and had a couple people there that was booking agents. And they come up to me and said, do you want to play some shows? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And, I was super excited. Yeah, I want to play some shows for actual money, make some money, because I'm unemployed at this time. I quit my job, So I was like, yeah, make some money, yeah. And they told me $300 to play the show, and I'm like, $300 to play one show? Count me in, buddy. I'll go wherever you want me to, And then they asked me how many songs and I said probably like 3. And they're like, well, you better go learn about 40. So I went home for 2.5 weeks, and I picked up a guitar and I learned about 40 songs from all the classics that I grew up with: Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Eddie Rabbitt, all those people.
Yeah.
I just learned all classic country and stuff, and then I hit them up 2.5 weeks later and said, I'm ready to go. And they said, you already learned 40 songs? I said, yeah. And so I did. I went out there and started playing my shows, and when they started booking for me, they booked me out for about 6 or 7 months, about 4 shows a week, give or take, and the rest is history. Now we're sitting here touring the world, not the country, but the world.
That's
So what brought you out of you mentioned your story. What was it, music that brought you kind of out of your local?
Oh, 100%. I don't really talk about it much.
Yeah.
It's a time in my life that I do not want to relive, nor do I even want to even fathom thinking about. But I'd attempted suicide at that time. Trying to overdose was pretty much what I was trying to do. And when I done that, I just had an epiphany, like, man, I let a woman have this much, just not even just a woman, but just a person, somebody that wasn't me, have that much control over my life. And I decided right then and there that I was going to live for me and live for nobody else. And that's exactly what I did.
Good for you, man.
Yeah,
So,
great.
And you're heading on the right path, because I mean, everybody I interview that's Hall of Fame or whatever, the first thing they do is bet on themselves, and then they just go.
I tell people all the time, you better bet on yourself. I was like, I've got friends that still work a 9 to 5 and are killer musicians, killer songwriters, and they play shows, but that's all they do. And they're like, well, I just don't have time for social media. I was like, if you don't have time for social media, you might as well hang your hat up, because if you ain't posting on social media, you're screwing yourself. And because that's the only way to be seen nowadays, unless you're born into it, and not everybody's, born into country music royalty.
Right.
And even ones born into it, if they got,
And they still got to work.
They got to work.
They still got to work. It's not a hand me. One of my good friends, Jesse Keith Whitley, I can tell you right now, I do bust his ass every day, and that's Keith Whitley's boy, and Lori Morgan's. So he's not just got one person as his. He's got 2 country music royalty as his family, his mom and dad. So he still busts his ass to make it happen. And it's just, this is just one of those businesses, one of those things that you'll have a love-hate relationship with it for sure. So you got to be bent to do it, or you just can't do it, and that's for damn sure.
You see that a lot in anybody who's successful.
Yeah.
There's a different kind of work ethic. And, coming out of the military, out of the SEAL teams, I just remember thinking, man, my half speed is faster than most people. And it's just because I grew up in this community where if you weren't the top performer, they ran away, right? You couldn't keep up. So, when I talk now, when I do leadership stuff, the work ethic, being able to put the time and learn from your mistakes, it's huge. And, it seems like you've done a really good job of righting the ship when it was.
For sure. I mean, if you ain't willing to, I have so many, and I kind of get labeled as an asshole a little bit, because I don't sugarcoat nothing. And if somebody asks my opinion, regardless if I feel like I need to give my opinion or not, they ask for it, I'll give it. They may not like what I say. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me and they're just like, man, my dream is to do this and my dream is to do that. And all I hear is their dream is to do this and do that. But I never hear how the hell they're going to accomplish that, or what are you going to do to achieve that dream, And so I just can't fathom somebody saying that my dream is to do this and never take every waking moment of your day to achieve that.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
God, I don't know. I could have told you that a year ago, but everything's going so crazy now that, I mean, I'd say the sky's the limit, but I'd say probably the stars, it's just crazy. I'd like to see myself, full-time touring, living what I consider my dream, which is not to be on the radio, not to be some big A+ celebrity, but more so making a really good living for my family, and touring full time and have a bus and have people, like you can't see him off camera over there, my buddy Nate over there. He's my guitar player in my band, and I want to be able to give something to them as well, because they've stuck with me and worked their asses off for me and been there. I want to be able to give back to them and their family. So if I can have a tour bus and be able to provide them a career as long as with myself, that's all I want out of life, man.
Yeah.
And if I got some people that want to listen to my music and stream it, that's awesome too. And that's all I want to do, man. It's my dream, and I don't think that's too far-fetched.
So what do you love to do more, write or sing?
Sing.
I
write, but I'm not a writer, bro. I'll be honest with you. I do love it. But my passion, and I tell people this all the time, and they look at me like I'm crazy, but my passion isn't writing. My passion isn't performing. Uh, my passion is the people. And I know it kind of sounds corny, but it's the truth. My favorite part of being on the road and doing this is after the show when I get to stand my merch booth and have people come up to me and talk to me and get to shake their hands and hug their necks and tell them, hey man, you really don't know how much I appreciate,
Being part of the family,
you know,
being a part of your fans.
yeah, and being a part of that and meeting them and hearing their stories and things like that, because they inspire me every day. But that's my passion, is people. Never met a stranger, never going to. But it's just, that's my passion. But I do like performing more so than I do writing. Now there is something about getting in a room and then the words just flow and they just freaking hit hard, and it's just something about that just really makes you feel good. But if, I'm more of a co-writer than a writer. I've wrote every song that I put out other than one. But I like to write with people, but that comes back to my passion of people, is being able to, be social.
Right.
And I would rather sit there and talk to them people for 3 hours than write a song with them.
Yeah.
And if a song comes from it, hell yeah, man. But if it don't, I just had a great conversation with somebody for 3 hours, and so I don't really care,
That's the common theme that we've been talking about on our episode, and even this, is people.
Yeah.
We all have our thing, right? Music or food or, military service, all that, and we specialize in those areas. But the common theme is successful people is the authentic people relationship.
Yeah.
And you talking about your passion for entertainment and getting to what you do for people is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to change the world. And I'm a Christian, so I believe that wealth shouldn't be hoarded and greeted upon. It should be given to those in need. And so, this year is my first year where I've really made good money, without disclosing a number because the government. But this is the first year where I really made good money doing this, and I try to give back as much as I possibly can, because that's what we're supposed to do.
So speaking of that, you mentioned gospel. How has gospel influenced your music now?
Well, obviously, I grew up in a Pentecostal church with my grandmother, so the definition of holy rollers, the ones that run around and go crazy.
I've done it a few times.
Are there snakes involved?
No, that's different. That's a different type of Pentecostal.
Those are way up in the hills.
That's Pentecostal with more money.
Yeah. We turn up at our churches, and our Pentecostal churches.
You ever had the old man do the cartwheels in the aisle?
No, I've never had them. Never seen that. I've seen some crazy stuff, I'll tell you, but I've never seen that.
I had to go to church with my grandma when we grew up in Pentecostal, and this man, every Sunday, at least Sunday night, when you go to church, he'd get out of that second pew and he'd start doing cartwheels. This guy had to be 60 years old.
Funny. Good on.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
That music get to going about him going to heaven, and buddy, he starts.
Oh boy, he gets wild in old Pentecostal church. But yeah, I've got a bunch of cousins that they got a gospel group called the Catrins. I believe I may be saying this wrong. They're from out of West Virginia, but they tour with the Gaithers and stuff in their gospel group.
Pretty cool.
So they that's kind of, like I said, I've got a lot of music in my family, and people that have been really successful in music in my family, and stuff like that. So yeah, gospel, it started with my grandmother, obviously.
Sure.
But that's kind of it. Gospel, I listen to gospel. I still listen to gospel, bluegrass gospels, things like that. I still listen to that from time to time, and things like that. But yeah, it kind of influenced me from that. It's just, I think any good old boy that's ever played music probably started in church. Seems to be a generic theme that I see. It's kind of where you first get the first taste,
the itch.
Yeah.
The
So
itch,
where has your most favorite place been that you performed, and where do you want to perform that you haven't?
Gosh, I ain't really thought about it. My favorite place would probably, shit, I'm trying to think of where all I've been.
That's a
Some of
good
them I
problem to have when you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
think of your favorite place.
There's some good ones there.
There's some
I've had
good
some
ones.
good ones, man. I've had some I can't remember.
I hear a lot of music artists say Ohio's really good.
Ohio supports.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Not going off your question, but you know, man, there ain't no community like the outlaw community. There ain't no other fan in any other type of genre that will get on a motorcycle in Maine and drive plumb to Sun Valley, California, and watch you play for an hour.
Yeah.
They are an outlaw country.
Yeah.
They'll get on a motorcycle and they will ride out and they'll come watch you play for an hour, and then the next day get back on that bike and go right back to Maine.
Yeah.
And take a bullet for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying, and that's why I'm like, people are like, well, man, you've only got 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. You've only got 250,000 followers. How are you? But you're talking about doing all this stuff and this and that. I got guys that's got 1 million monthly listeners, and they're not putting asses in seats like you guys are. And like Creed Fisher, like he's a good buddy of mine. Dude, he 1,500 seats every night, sold out. I'm doing 350, 400 myself.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, the reason why that is because we got the most loyal fan base in any genre, dude.
Yeah, would
And
you
I'll
rather
say-
have a high number or a loyal number?
Exactly. Like they come to every show. They show up.
The land number grows it because
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And numbers are cool, but what matters is how many people are sitting in those seats.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of the day, on a money standpoint, I don't get paid by the follower. I get paid by the
that's right.
asses in seats.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
They buy the merch. They do it.
And they do
And
everything.
those loyal people,
And they keep me on the road.
they'll go tell every neighbor in their neighborhood, hey, you need to
Yeah.
listen to this guy, you need to listen to that guy. I know multiple independent. I know one of the biggest independent artists in the country. And that's how he built himself. He
Yeah.
just-
And how many people how many people do you think? I've got 250,000 followers across that I've been able to accumulate in the last 6 months. Across 6 months ago, I had 8,000 followers. Okay. In the last 6 months, I've been able to accumulate up to 250,000. How many of those people do you think is a follower that's seen me sing and just go follow and probably never liked, never shared, or never seen anything else from me after that point?
Yeah.
Yep.
But they're a follower,
Yep.
right? Yeah, that number looks cool, and that sounds like a hell of a lot of growth, because it is in that short of time frame. But also, I'd rather have 100 people come and watch me sing every night than 250,000 people online. Don't get me wrong, follow me on social media. Okay, I'm not saying don't do that.
We'll put the link.
I'm not saying don't do that. That does help out a lot when it comes to promotional stuff and promoters. They want to see those numbers, but they care about what is sitting in those seats.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I do too. And I care about not just the seat and not the money, but the people that's sitting in them.
So it sounds like maybe not a location that you're having a hard time because you've been to so many cool places, but more the outlaw or the actual fan base is your location.
Yeah, that is my location. Wherever I can get a gathering of badass outlaws together and we can jam out. That's the location. And I'm sure that I'll be able to have a better answer for you come the end of this coming year, or start of next year when I go on tour and stuff. But I get to play the UK next year in Scotland, so I'll be touring there. So that's going to be really cool, and I'm looking forward to that because
Those people are passionate about
yes,
some country
people in the UK love country music, and with what I do, there's not a lot of what I do over there. Yeah. So they really dig that stuff and really, I'm already sold out a few shows while I'm there, and we haven't even posted the date.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
where's the place you want to play? What's the way if you had to pick one place?
I don't really have anything on my.
John Daly's tonight.
No,
John Daly's tonight, man.
no Billy Bob's or no Red Rock.
Red Rock.
I've just
or
always been-
Opry.
Yeah.
I guess I've just, maybe it's the humbleness of me. I've just always been grateful to be able to do it.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So like, wherever I can go and play, it's cool. Obviously, I think the Grand Ole Opry would be cool. That's kind of like a staple for probably everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's the generic answer, the Grand Ole Opry.
Right.
But there's a lot of places that I'd love to. Red Rocks would be cool, man.
I think with your voice, the rhyming would be off the chain.
Rhyming,
the way it
it'd be
echoes
cool.
in there. Oh,
That'd be cool. I mean, maybe playing a private party for some of what I would consider my heroes. A lot of them's dead and gone, but there's still a few. Playing a show with like Channing Wilson. He's what I consider one of my songwriter influences for sure. And the dude's got a voice like freaking God. I mean, he's just so good.
Yeah.
Jamie Johnson's my biggest influence is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to be able to play a show with him, write a song with him, do something like that. Creed Fisher, he's obviously a good friend of mine, and that dude, he's the real deal, man. That dude is what he preaches. He backs up. I tell you,
Yeah.
and he's a good friend of mine, and
You said Merle Haggard was.
he's my biggest influence. Merle Haggard, to me, that is the king of country music. People can say George Strait all they want. People can say this and that. Ain't nobody ever done it like Merle, and I highly doubt there ever be anybody do it like Merle. Merle had everything that there was to be what country music is, and the songwriting, the voice, the playability of his instrument, the entertainment. I mean, he just had the whole package, and I can't name nobody that's ever had that whole package other than Merle Haggard. And Merle Haggard, what a lot of people don't know, Merle Haggard wrote 93% of the songs that he put out. There ain't no other artist that can say that.
Wow.
Not even Taylor Swift?
Dang.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know nothing about no Taylor.
I obviously don't either.
I never listened to the radio much. Even when I was a kid, my mom had old cassette tapes and 8-track tapes, and that's what I listened to as a kid. And CDs, obviously. But I never listened to the radio ever. We had this radio called Tradio, and people would call in and want to sell stuff and trade. So I'd listen to that a lot of times if I was in the car, listen to the radio. It was that. It wasn't country music or nothing. Yeah. So, I listened to I remember one of my fondest early moments was an Eddie Rabbit cassette tape my mom had. And
I love me some Eddie Rabbit.
I remember putting that in it and listening to that, and my most fondest moment and the first song I ever learned to play on guitar, and that I was very fortunate this year to get to cut myself, was "Good Old Boys" by Waylon, watching the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh yeah.
And that was the first real time, because I mean, you hear a voice on a cassette tape, but you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
But this was the first time I ever seen somebody play guitar and think, that dude's the coolest dude in the world,
Yeah.
And so when
You
I
did
learned,
good for the Tulsa time too.
yeah, Don Williams was one of my favorites. I like a lot of people. I think Don Williams is probably, just like Billy Joe Shaver, probably one of the most underrated, people to ever do it. Billy more on the songwriting side, but Don had a voice and songwriting. Don wrote a lot of songs for people like Amanda. He done that first. Don Williams done Amanda, and then Waylon done it, and then Waylon made it famous. Made it a big song.
Yeah.
But Don Williams done that song first, and he done a lot of songs, and wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people, and stuff like that. So
you mentioned 250,000 follower growth in the last 6 months, which is, I'm gonna look at my social team and be like, man, I'd love that.
Yeah.
But
That's a goal now.
that's a goal now. But
Gauntlet.
you mentioned kind of before we started the podcast that really professionally, the last 3 years is really where I know music's influenced your life as a kid to now.
yeah.
But 3 years to today, you've had some quite good success in these 3 years in the last 6 months.
Yeah, I've definitely turned some heads. Hell, I've turned my own head more times than I can think. Like, did I really do that? Is that really happening right now? It's almost like a pinch me moment, but yeah, dude. 3 years ago. No, this coming November, that I told my boss to stick it where the sun don't shine, and decided to play music.
That's a song.
Yeah, well, it is a song. I have that song. It's not recorded yet. It's called "Never Gave a Damn." So you may hear it come out.
Well, Johnny was playing some new stuff for us. Well, when you got here,
Yeah,
your sound is awesome.
I appreciate that.
Indeed.
So tell us about a couple of the songs you got right now.
So my biggest song is "Outlaw Shit," and "Tulsa Time," which is a cover, obviously. Them two kind of go back and forth every week on who's going to do better than the other. "Outlaw Shit" was like, I'm the kind of guy that I don't really, I don't throw off on nobody on what they decide to do. I just know who I am and what I stand for, and that's what I sing about. And "Outlaw Shit's" a song about who I am and what I stand on. And the opening line is, I was raised on, I can't even remember my lyrics, raised on Waylon, Billy Joe Shaver, and Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was. When do you hear Billy Joe Shaver's name dropped in a song? You don't, because I didn't listen to the same shit people listen to my age growing up.
Yeah.
I deep dove into the Brit. Like, every time I hear a song that I like, the first thing I do is, who wrote that? Who's actually the brains behind this song?
Yeah, not who sang it,
Not who
who
sang
made it famous.
Who made it famous, but who actually wrote this song? And that right there tells me. And then I got to doing this, and I started listening to all the greats like Waylon and Willie, Johnny Cash, all these guys, and the same name kept popping up, Billy Joe Shaver, on songwriting credits. Billy Joe Shaver, Billy Joe Shaver. And I'm like, who the hell is this Billy Joe Shaver? So then I start digging into his catalog, and I'm thinking, I'm not saying that Billy Joe Shaver is the reason why Waylon is Waylon, but he's got a damn big part in the reason why Waylon's Waylon. And Waylon, I think if he was still alive, he'd say the same thing.
So outside of your grandmother, who would you say is a big part of who you are?
Damn.
You stumped him again.
My family's going to get mad at me. Obviously my family and just general. All my family's had a role in who I am today.
Sure.
But I've always been the guy that was cut against the grain. I'm never been a part of the cloth, and if I have, my cloth's not white. So it's kind of an influence of just everybody. Yeah. Really. My grandmothers, let's put it that way. I've had two grandmothers, one still alive that supports the shit out of me. My mama Thelma, my dad's mom. And, if it wasn't for her, during those first couple years, I'd probably lived under a bridge. And the thing is, I was willing to.
Yeah.
I was willing to I gave up everything. I filed bankruptcy, gave up everything so that way I could do music full time. And, I had everything, not everything, but I had the American dream. I had a nice truck, $80,000 truck, had a $300,000 home. I had everything. Everything. I had a family, I had a wife. I had it all. And I decided to give it all up for
I tell you this,
music.
We've learned this. Talking to y'all, I know y'all have learned this. Man, who I thought I was at 15 and who I'd be at my age now, 20, my age now, 25, my age now, and just the curves that life takes you on.
Yeah.
And the doors that God closes. And sometimes in a moment you don't realize it, but then you kind of end up on the other back half of that journey, and you realize maybe God made me for a different purpose. And it sounds like you've entered that next. Maybe this is who God made you, and it wasn't the life you maybe had. You thought it was.
Yeah.
Now where you are now is exactly maybe who God needed you to be.
Yeah. But all that happened, through my life has allowed me to look at life at a different aspect. First and foremost, if you want anything in life, you got to meet God halfway there. He's not going to, you can pray for $1 million, but if you don't get out and work your ass off for it, He's not going to give it to you. Number two, I look at life as everything happens for a reason. So I used to get real upset over inconveniences in life. If I blew a tire on the touring car or something, boy, I'd get freaking pissed off. I'd be, damn it, we're going to be late, things like this, and just get all bent out of shape on it. But now I just look at it and say, well, it meant to happen. Maybe it saved me from
A wreck.
a wreck 10 minutes down the road. Maybe, you know, like I wrote a song called Morning Dew, and the I guess the hook of the song is, rain makes fog, but more fog makes morning dew. And then what it is like everybody hates the rain. Everybody fucking hates when it's storming down on you and you're going through the shit and you're, you know, looking at God saying, why God, why would you do this to me? Or why this and why that? And you want to point fingers because you hate it. But then the fog comes and then you don't know what the hell to do. You know, because you can't see shit. You can't see where you're going. And then the morning dew comes and then it gives you a breath of fresh air and the sun comes up and you're
A
like,
little clarity.
damn, now I'm through there. And that's kind of what I wrote that song about. But I wrote that song on 9/11 this past year because I got to thinking, you know, they call it some kind of effect and I can't remember what it's called. But like, I got to thinking at 9/11, I started watching videos and stuff and was thinking, you know, there was a lot of people that died in 9/11, but there was also a lot of people that was saved because they spilled coffee on their shirt. They got a flat tire on the interstate going to the World Trade Center, you know, like stuff like that. Like these little inconveniences saved their life, but they was probably madder than hell when they come out of that
moment.
Yeah, at that moment they come out of that house and spilled coffee on them. Was like, shit, I gotta go back in the house and change my shirt, right? And they was probably mad as hell, but that gave them that extra 5 or 10 minutes to save their life. And so everything any inconvenience that happens in my life, I think of it that way, and it's just and I turn it into positive. And I think
You.
Yeah, it's great.
maybe it's
Perspective.
happens
It's a great
for a reason.
perspective.
You know? And so that's kind of what I wrote that song about, was kind of, you know, the thought of that.
So everything you've gone through, are you writing some of your lyrics coming from that part of your life?
Used to, not no more. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. You know, thank God. And, you know, but there was a time if you go and listen to my old stuff, I got a song called Cold Hearted, which is, about my ex-wife. And it's a murder ballad. And I intro the song every show. I said, disclaimer, I didn't kill my ex-wife, but I damn sure wanted to, and I wrote this song about it. So, it's a murder ballad about killing my ex-wife. Even though I never did kill my ex-wife. But yeah, that definitely come from that time. Wither Away is definitely a song, about alcohol and drug abuse and stuff that I was going through. And things like that. And yeah, so I've got a bunch of songs that I've never cut and I'll probably never cut, that I wrote about that time in my life. Some of them's really, the only reason I wouldn't cut them is I can't sing them like I used to. Because every time I tap into a song, I always remember the time I wrote it, because I don't want to forget that feeling of when I wrote that song, because that's the purest time the lyrics ring the truth.
Came from the gut.
Yeah.
So do you think you would go through a period where you could go, like it's too soon now, but you could go through a period maybe years from now and go back and like pull some of that stuff out?
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's going to be new experiences. I mean, hell, life throws curveballs every day. And I'm sure that I'm going to go through some shit. I mean, if you ain't going through shit, you ain't doing nothing. You know, so I'm sure that there's going to be hard times.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people all the time, I write songs about hard times for people going through hard times. And you know, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more hard times to come. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of struggle on the road. You know, I'm just starting to tap into that. And you know, I wrote a song, called Rambling Ways that I haven't released yet, but it's about being on the road, you know, missing your family and anybody that drives truck or goes away for an extended period of time. It's hard.
Yeah.
Being on the road and being away from family.
So other than your ex-wife, tell us about your family.
I mean, I got a pretty typical family.
All Kentucky?
I mean, I got people all over. My dad lives in Texas now. He has a big horse ranch down there in Waller.
How old are your kids?
Huh?
How old are your kids?
I don't have any kids.
You don't have any kids?
No. I made that.
That you know of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Go there.
Yeah, we never got that.
I don't have any kids I guess it's alive. I guess I would say me and my ex-wife had a lot of miscarriages, which kind of led to the cheating and stuff on her point. But yeah, I don't have any kids, but I have a girlfriend that Abby. Man, she come into my life at the worst part of my life, and instead of saying, "Oh, this motherfucker's crazy," she said, "I'm gonna hold you down," and she did. And I was broke as a joke, didn't have nothing, and she stepped in and said, I want you to lean on me and help me out. I want to help you out," and she did, and she's the love of my life, and I'm very grateful for her. And yeah, so my family is just typical run of the mill. My dad lives in Texas, my mom still lives in Kentucky. We're most of them pretty much still all poor. In the aspect of, I guess I was raised poor. My dad, he's retired doctor, but like my dad and mom was divorced at a young age, and my dad always lived really far away, so I never really got to see my dad as much as I would have liked, and I'm sure as much as he would have liked to seen us boys. But I've got a brother, Jacob. I'm the oldest of three. I've got a brother named Jacob, and then I've got a half sister named Ashley, which is my stepfather's only kid, but he's passed away now as well. So yeah, I'm just typical family, man. I'm the only one that kind of is the oddball that kind of never. I was always been that oddball though. I've never been the guy that's ever follows suit with anything, and I was always rebellious, which kind of goes through in my music too.
Well, normally the older kid is.
Yeah, I was always different. I was always, I didn't want to do.
Yeah, but I was the youngest.
Yeah. The oldest is the smartest.
Yeah, my sister she needs a lot of ass whoopings, but never got them. So I got a lot of them. Me and my brother.
Took the brunt.
Yeah, me and my brother, we got a lot of them. My brother got less than I did. But I was the nicer of the kids. I was just rebellious, and if I didn't want to do it, I didn't do it. And I'd let them beat me plumb to death and still not do it. So it's just how I was. I've always been that way. Kind of the reason why I didn't do good in school is if it didn't interest me, I didn't do it. And I guess that's where music's a passion. So
that's where the outlaw came in.
I just always put everything into. If I wanted to do it, I'd bust my ass tooth and nail as hard as I could to make it happen. If I didn't want to do it, good luck.
You know what? It shows, and I think one of the most interesting things that I've taken out of this so far is how involved you are in building your brand, right?
Yeah.
And from the outside looking in, I see a country music artist, any artist really, you think, well, they've got a big team around them that's doing all this work to make them successful, and they're just writing songs and singing music, but clearly not the case. And can you talk just a little bit of how much you're involved day to day on building the brand? Not just creating and singing music.
Yeah, I do everything. Social media. I don't really have a manager. I'm not signed to no manager. Let's put it that way. I'm not signed to no management deal. The record label that I'm with, Mountain Road Records, is a small independent label. They also have a management branch, and they've offered me a management deal. But I just don't think, I live by a motto. I treat music as a business that I love. Okay. And I think that's what's really helped me with success so far is I treat this as a business, and I live by a motto. I keep my overhead down and my profits up. So if I don't need it, I don't get it. And a manager is not something I need.
Yeah.
Obviously, if somebody hits me up and says, "Hey, we want to sit down with you," I'll sit down. I mean, I'll always entertain the idea and hear offers, because you never know what can come about. But if I don't need a manager, why go get one? Why give my profit to somebody that can help me?
Yep.
But I can do what they're doing as of right now on my own. Now there'll come a point where I'll have to have a team around me because I'll.
Mark.
I think it gets to where you get so busy to where you physically can't handle anything. And I mean I'm almost to that point. I handle all my social media, all my messages, everything. If you message me on social media and you get a reply, it's me. It's nobody else. Ain't nobody else got access to that stuff. It's me.
Yeah, I thought I was talking to somebody.
Yeah. You know, a booking agent's really what I need right now, more so than anything. And things like that. But like, as for everything, social media, I do it all on my own. You know, I have a really good group of producers that I work with. I've done some really cool stuff in their careers, and they know what I'm going for, and it's, you know, it's working, obviously. But as involved, I'm as involved as I possibly can be. If I stop today, the train stops. So, you know, I don't have a team around me. I have influential people that advise me, that hold no profit to me, like, meaning that they don't get paid to do things. They do it out of generosity, or they do it because they believe in me.
Sure.
That I respect because of what they've done in their career, you know, and things like that. But yeah, I'm the train, brother, that keeps rolling, and if I decide to put the brakes on, that stops the whole damn shebang. So, you know, that's kind of how it is, and that's how it's going to be as long as I possibly can.
It's great.
Or until my money flow comes so high to where I can afford to bring people on. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to starve myself out, you know.
Sure.
If you're only making $100,000 a year, the last thing you can do is go get a $1 million bus. You know, or at least it should be. But I do know some people that do that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Fake it
what-
till you make it, right?
What's of the things you can talk about for next year? What's next year bringing?
UK tour, Scotland. Touring with Creed Fisher, which ain't been released. I can't. So, but I guess I can talk about it. Touring with Creed Fisher. I've got my own headlining tours lined up, that we're doing here in the States.
You coming to Georgia?
I am sure.
You got to come down to Athens.
I'm sure I'll be in Georgia. I don't see how I don't go to Georgia, because I'm going to be in Texas. Yeah, I don't see how it don't happen. It ain't scheduled yet, but I'm sure.
Well, if you go to Texas, you could spend the whole year in Texas.
Yeah.
That's it's its own scene all by itself.
Well, that's where I lived for 7 years. I didn't mention that, but yeah, I lived from age 21 to 27, or 20 to 27. I lived in Texas. I lived in Katy, so outside Houston. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's country singers in Texas that are huge. I mean, make big money. Nobody outside of them never even know.
you know, Josh Ward's one of my favorite. Josh Ward. First time I ever met Cody Johnson was at a little bar. He's sitting on a bar stool with an acoustic guitar. Last time I seen him, he was headlining the Houston Rodeo.
Yeah, Joe,
So
a good friend of mine, Joe, said that he was playing with him in Virginia and said that Cody had gotten real drunk or whatever and puked on his guitar. And he's like, man, I was mad about it. He's like, now I wish I'd have kept it, so don't eat it.
yeah, yeah, seriously.
Guitar break more money we puke on it. That's what I'm saying.
It does if it's Cody Johnson's puke.
Yeah, Cody Johnson, bro. I mean, that Texas, he was huge in Texas, you know.
Yeah,
Pat Green had one song that ever made it outside of Texas, but I mean, he's a legend in Texas.
Well, I'm
Josh
saying-
Ward too, you know.
Yeah.
Josh Ward is big.
I'm calling it now. When you come to Georgia next year, not only do we want you to come down to the McLemore farm, just come hang out,
Yep.
go hunting for a day, but when you come to Georgia, we're gonna come cook for you backstage.
That'll work. That'd be
Cold
good.
chicken.
I'm sure the boys in the band, will be all about that too. And I want to mention somebody. He don't get the credit he deserves, but he's actually here with me, and he's off camera. But he's my guitar player, Nathan Jenkins. And you can follow him on Nathan Jenkins Music everywhere. The dude's a killer. He used to play guitar for Wade Jennings, which is Waylon's grandson and stuff. And he decided to come and play guitar for me. I don't know why he'd ever decide that shit, but he did.
We met him earlier. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good feller, man. And he deserves a lot more credit than he does. And he's a songwriter and he sings as well. And so y'all go support him. And I think he's about the only person in my band that I want to support. No, I'm just joking, guys.
Before we get done with this, because I want you to play a song on here before
Yeah.
we're done. But what do you want to plug? If you can plug anything, 4 or 5 things, what do you want to plug?
If I want to plug, my girlfriend Abby, I kind of done that earlier, for sure. She always deserves the credit. Abby, I love you. I appreciate you, truly. My band, man, Nate Jenkins, Justin Kahn, Ryan Stacy, Chase Brown, they all played for me. Tommy Kate plays harmonica. I want to plug them. Them guys deserve so much more. And some of my songwriting buddies, they tell me all the time, like my girlfriend, she's really good about like managing me a little bit.
Yeah.
She'll be with me. She's usually everywhere with me. But she'll be like, I'll meet somebody that's, celebrity or something, and we'll get to talking, and I never talk about myself. Ever talk about myself. I'm always plugging my friends to them, like, hey, have you heard my buddy, blah, 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 you ought to go listen to his music. And this dude don't even know who I am.
That's how we all on this thing right
Yeah.
here. We want everybody else to do better.
Yeah, I want to give, if I'm in that position, I want to make sure I talk about my friends as well. But Abby would be like, hit me, and she'd be like, you need to talk about yourself.
Well, let me help you out here and play Abby, but can you tell everybody where they can go follow you on social media, website, where your tour dates are listed, and so they can come watch
Get
you?
merchandise.
Yeah, you can follow me at Kevin Thomas Official, pretty much everywhere. First of all, I've got on TikTok, there's 50 freaking fake accounts. TikTok won't do nothing about it. So the one with the most followers, that's me. Instagram, same way. Facebook, same way. Yeah, Kevin Thomas on everything. Kevin Thomas, official.com is my website. We're working on merch, so we'll have a merch store on there hopefully pretty soon. But you can follow my tour dates on there. I ain't got a whole lot posted because I'm, like I said, I'm a one-man band, and I'm kind of saving some stuff, and I've got a lot of stuff pending, so it's not on there yet. But by the first of the year, we'll have a full schedule on there for this coming year, and you can plan ahead and get your tickets. This Saturday, I'll be playing in Monticello, Kentucky, my hometown. I'll be playing Lake Cumberland Fall Fest, opening for Chris Cagle. It's a free event, so if you all can come out to it. If you got to drive 4.5 hours to it, I recommend doing it. And this is why I say that, is because you're not going to get many free events from me from now on out. So this is one of those events. So come on out.
That's great. Well, we appreciate that. And, in the spirit of giving back, I think we're all pretty fond of that. We are in a town where people come here to fulfill their musical dreams. Right?
Sure.
This is the place for country music. What is your advice where you are now, from where you came from, that you can pass on to that next generation of country artists trying to make it?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you one thing. Stay small enough, long enough, and you'll be big enough soon enough.
That's good.
And you do that, and keep your overhead down, keep your profits up. And remember, you don't have to be in Nashville to make a career. Everything's based social media nowadays. Get your following on social media, bust your ass. If, there's 5 things: playing shows, social media, networking, writing music, and recording music. And if there's 3 of those 5s I'd tell you to work on, social media would be number 1, recording music, and networking. If you ain't got to play a show, don't go play a show. If you work on those 3 things, and you have the talent, you can build a social media presence, and you'll have people reaching out to you left and right. And before you know it, you'll be on a tour bus touring the country. So,
Wow. I feel like I need to pay for admission for that advice. Dude,
That's good.
I know a little about a lot. That's what I tell people, and I know enough about music to make a living, and that's about it.
Hey, small enough, long enough, you'll be big enough soon enough. My favorite thing
That
I've
is-
heard here.
Yeah.
So
You're going to
That's
see
a
that.
t-shirt.
Crazy.
That's a merch right there. Right there.
There's a merch.
that is definitely merch.
So, Kevin, you got our platform. Is there anything you want to say? Anything we didn't cover that you have access to our network right now?
Yeah, for sure. Never be afraid to approach me at a show. I know I'm a big guy, and I tell this to a lot of people because a lot of people do see me and they're like, they feel like I'm scared to, I guess I'm scary a little bit, but don't feel scared. Come up and approach me. I want to talk to you. I promise. You're never going to inconvenience me. You all that support me are the guys and the women and the children that are my lifeline. You all make it possible for what I do. So come see me. Don't ever feel like you're inconvenienced. And if anybody on my team ever makes you feel that way, you come tell me, and I'll make sure that don't happen again. So
It's fantastic. Appreciate you. Thank
Yeah.
you for coming. McLemore Boys, thank you for staying.
Yeah.
It's the easiest podcast I've ever had to do because you guys ran it. So
Oh man,
I appreciate you.
Great.
We didn't have to cook. Hey, we didn't
So
have to cook.
We're
great.
going to take a quick break and then come back, let him
Yeah,
sing one
we'll
song.
close it out
Yep.
now, and then we'll come back. But thank you to everybody that made this possible, the production crew, our guests, Kevin. Thank you to John Daly and John Daly's Nashville and Good Boy Vodka for making this possible. We appreciate y'all for watching. Please go follow the McLemore Boys, follow Kevin, and follow 25-8 Podcast. Have a good one.
We're gonna close it out with a little song by Kevin Thomas, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
This song's called "Don't Tread on Me," and it's a song for the people that are tired of the bullshit that the government kind of puts us through. Also, this song's for the veterans because I think they are underappreciated in this country. And just know that I stand with you and for you, and I'll do anything I can for you. So here we go. This song's "Don't Tread on Me." Left wing, right wing, it's all the same thing. Who you really working for? You say it's me, but you're shaking hands with the wolves inside my door. With a hollowed heart and a devil's tongue, bend the truth to hide your lies. With a blink of an eye, you fall asleep in a bed of alibis. It's time to rise up and believe. You need to give back to the dream for the land of the free. And don't you tread on me. Don't you tread on me. Wind the times, it was all on the line, and the people, they had enough. They marched their way to freedom on a road paved in blood. Where's the take a stand, lend a hand, front line, trench man, willing to fight for the cause. It's all come together, Lord, it's now or never. Held our backs against the wall. It's time to rise up and believe. Need to give back to the dream for the land of the free. And don't you tread on me. You don't you tread on me. Don't you tread on me, son. Left wing, right wing, it's all the same thing. Who you really fighting for? Yeah, rise up and believe. Need to give back to the dream for the land of the free. Don't you tread on me. Don't you tread on me. Don't you tread on me. Woo!
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.